Okay folks, I am going to keep this as simple as possible. The purpose of this video is to convince you that the universe in which we exist is actually a Technoverse and a Cybernetic universe. Now, I do not expect you to suffer through almost an hour of this video, but I would like you to at least click through several frames so you can get the gist of my Technoverse theory. All you have to do is just click through several frames and the concept should materialize inside your head. Anybody with any kind of intelligence knows that there is a lot more out there in the universe that meets the eye. This video is going to point out some of those things. The universe is pure technology. The stars are technology. The galaxies are spiral antennas, transceiver coils, more specifically planar spiral antennas / transceiver coils / radio frequency identification tags. The galaxies are also planar spiral biosensors. The galaxies, and more specifically the spiral galaxies, are fusions of radio technology, RFID technology, sensor technology, and other technologies that will be discussed in this video. This video is about comparisons of the natural universe with bits and pieces of technology that the human race has been developing within the last several decades. The galaxies are also some kind of particle accelerators / decelerators. And planets like Earth are also particle accelerators / cyclotrons. Earth is a particle accelerator inside the particle accelerator of the Milky Way galaxy, all of which are antennas, all of which are the equivalent of biosensors. The universe is a machine that produces machines that in turn are instrumental in producing life forms, as well as serving as tools to analyze and scan these life forms in behalf of the engineers of the Technoverse, I believe. Now, I can't spell everything out for you. All I can do is let these images do much of the talking for themselves, if I can help it. But the Earth, the other living planets, the galaxies are all technology. Computer technology, sensor technology, communications technology, and other forms of technology. Now, in the meantime, let's have a look at the cores of the galaxies, especially the spiral galaxies. Now, there's some funny business going on inside these cores that are supposedly black hole cores, and nobody knows what they're made out of, but I presume there are a lot of metals inside these cores, and the motions inside these cores help produce electromagnetic fields. The same thing could be said about the cores of the planets and suns. Now, these cores are made out of, respectively, iron, nickel, and other metals. The cores of the sun, I believe, are made out of helium and hydrogen, and helium and hydrogen under intense pressure are said to become metallic. So we have basically these orbs of metal at the cores of the planets and the galaxies, and I believe these cores are computer cores, sensor cores, antenna cores, and other cores. Radar is a type of sensor, by the way, and the cores of the planets in the galaxies, and probably the suns, I believe, are the equivalent of radar magnetron cathodes. These things produce electromagnetic fields. The electromagnetic field produced by the Earth and the Sun is passing through all life on Earth. The universe is based on a system of cores. Earth's core that turns and churns beneath our feet is a mere image of a sensor core, a radar core, radio transceiver core, computer core. The cores of planets like Earth produce electromagnetic fields. They turn electrons into microwaves, which are used in sensor equipment, radar equipment, and so forth. All life on Earth exists inside the electromagnetic field produced by the Earth. All life on Earth essentially orbits the core that resides at the center of the Earth, this mysterious core whose electromagnetic field resonates with the electromagnetic field produced by the human body. But this core is basically a sensor core, a radio transceiver core, a computer core, and so forth that form a singular multi-purpose core. It's a piece of technology that defies the imagination. The same exact thing could be said about the sun. The core of the suns, I believe, are computer cores, sensor cores. This includes radar magnetron cathodes and other technologies. The sun at large, I believe, is a plasma antenna. The sun is an antenna. The cores of the suns are sensor cores, computer cores, and other. But the interior and exterior structure and dynamics of the living planets and moons are mere images of radio nodes, radar nodes, computer nodes, and so forth. The organization of the solar system is also a mirror image of antenna arrays, satellite antennas. The rings of the gas giants play a role as deflector dishes. But any way you analyze the solar system, you will see technology. The same way with the organization of the galaxies and their structures, radio technology, radar technology, computer technology. The cores play a significant role and will be obsessed on in this video, but the cores of the galaxies are also radar cores, computer cores, antennas, sensors, and so forth, all of which produce complex electromagnetic fields, largely omnidirectional dipole electromagnetic fields. These electromagnetic fields permeate the universe and they frequently overlap. But the electromagnetic fields produced by planets, living moons, suns, and galaxies are largely produced by geodynamos, astrodynamos, what have you, at their cores. The turning and churning movements of these dynamos produce electromagnetic fields, and this includes the black hole cores at the center of the galaxies. These electromagnetic fields, it could also be said, are the same types as those produced by bar magnets and solenoids. But the fact remains, these electromagnetic fields are a lot more complex. The internal and external dynamics and structure of the heavenly bodies that make up the universe are mere images of the dynamics and structures of technology that the human race has developed within the last 50 years. The planets, the suns, the galaxies are sensor equipment, including radio frequency identification equipment, Wi-Fi equipment, including networks. These networks, I presume, were allowed to evolve for the purpose of enabling the engineers or engineer of the Technoverse to keep track of the life forms throughout the Technoverse. This includes keeping track of each and every organism, each and every planet, each and every moon, each and every galaxy, perhaps each and every universe. But the universe is distributed like the internet, essentially. The universe is also made of the same materials that the internet is made of, as well as with the same proportion of these materials, including iron, magnesium, zinc, gold, and the rest of the metals that make up computer equipment, sensor equipment, and other technologies. Even the layers of the Earth are mere images of the layers of sensor chips, computer chips, disks, and so forth. Earth is basically a rotating computer unit and biosensor unit, which is something, again, I will go into later. But the electromagnetic fields produced by the Earth, the Sun, and so forth are the same as those produced by computer equipment, sensor equipment. The universe is some kind of computational biology and bioinformatics grid. These spiral galaxies, like our Milky Way galaxy, are important parts of the cosmic grid. They are biosensors, more specifically planar spiral biosensors, transceiver coils / antenna coils. The same thing could be said about DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid, the molecules are radiotransceiver coils / antennas. They produce electromagnetic fields just like the human body at large, just like the Earth and the other living planets and moons. These electromagnetic field lines are largely dipole electromagnetic fields, and they permeate the universe. Humans exist inside the electromagnetic field produced by the Earth, all of which exist inside the electromagnetic field produced by the Sun, all of which exist inside the electromagnetic field produced by the Milky Way galaxy, all of which exist inside the electromagnetic field produced by the universe at large. We have a system of electromagnetic fields inside electromagnetic fields. This organization is the same dynamic as a source relay destination system. The electromagnetic field produced by the human body and the human brain, by the way, are produced by electrochemical reactions inside the human body and brain. But the human brain is the equivalent of a computer. The human body is the equivalent of a computer, that is, biological computers. The electromagnetic field produced by the human brain and the human body are identical to those produced by radio frequency identification tags. The same could be said for the Earth. The same could be said for the Milky Way galaxy. The same could be said for all the other galaxies. Organisms like humans, planets like the Earth, galaxies like the Milky Way galaxy are radio frequency identification tags. This is the primary way that the engineers of the Technoverse keep track of each and every organism throughout the Technoverse, each of which emits their own unique electromagnetic signature. The galaxies are also planar spiral biosensors, radio transceiver coils. The galaxies are pieces of technology that defy the imagination. The galaxies are a fusion of radio transceiver technology, biosensor technology, antenna technology, and computer technology. The electromagnetic fields that flow through the galaxies, through their arms, are probably picking up information as well as transmitting information on organisms in these galaxies. But any way you analyze the galaxies, the planets, you will see technology. The galaxies are fusions of technology. Biosensor technology, communications technology, radio frequency identification technology, computer technology, and other technologies. The galaxies are technology that defy the imagination. And as already noted, the Technoverse is some kind of computational biology and bioinformatics grid. It's largely dedicated to biosensing and computation. Here are some key words, by the way, that pertain to this project. Over a period of billions and billions of years, the forces of gravity and magnetism pulled the dust and gas in the universe into a system of cores, which in turn was pulled by the same forces into a system of rings around these cores. The kinetic motion of these rings and cores form the equivalent of a geomagnetic north-south pin that runs through this system of rings and cores. The electromagnetic north-south pins that run through the galaxies and the planets and living moons could stand by themselves as linear sensors and antennas. The movement of the system of cores and pins and rings help produce electromagnetic fields. Each and every core, ring, and pin could stand alone as a sensor unit, an antenna unit, and other technologies. The electromagnetic fields produced by the system of cores and rings and pins are the same types of electromagnetic fields produced by sensor equipment, communications equipment, as well as computer equipment. We live in a universe that is made of a very complex system of cores and rings and pins. The system of cores and pins and rings extends all the way down to the atomic level. Atoms are part of the system of cores and pins and rings. It's not out of the question in my mind that atoms are some kind of data storage and computing devices. But let us reanalyze briefly the rings of the galaxies. These rings appear to be transceiver rings, sensor rings. The same could be said for the electromagnetic rings that encircle the Earth. These electromagnetic rings are called the Van Allen radiation belts. And as you watch this, bear in mind that electromagnetic fields can store digital information. The Van Allen belts, that is the electromagnetic rings that encircle the Earth, are essentially mirror images of sensor rings and scanner rings. Are more or less, in an abstract way, sensor rings, radio transceiver rings. The electromagnetic fields produced by the Earth and other living planets and moons are passing through these heavenly bodies and probably picking up information on these heavenly bodies, especially if these heavenly bodies are inhabited by life forms. The electromagnetic fields produced by the Earth are pulsating upward through all organisms on Earth. The electromagnetic fields produced by the Earth encircle the Earth as well. Earth is a sensor node, computer node, transceiver node. and so forth.
Earth and the other planets are essentially mirror images of what are called optical magnetic microsphere resonator spectroscopes. These things are used to study cells and organisms at the genetic and molecular level. These produce their own electromagnetic fields, just like the Earth produces its electromagnetic field.
Earth is a very special microsphere because of its core. Earth's core, as noted, is a sensor core, and it's probably picking up information on the organisms on Earth. These are just a few examples in my image files, but I hope I am starting to make my point. Earth and the other living planets are pure technology.
Even the layers of the Earth, as previously noted, are mirror images of the layers of sensor equipment, computer equipment. This includes the electromagnetic fields produced by these pieces of equipment. Even the geochemical composition of the layers of the Earth are mirror images of the chemical compositions of computer and sensor chips and disks and plates and so forth. Even the organization of the layers are identical. And silicone is also a major ingredient in sensor equipment and computer equipment, and silicone makes up somewhere around 20-something% of the geochemical composition of the Earth. Sensor equipment and computer equipment are also made out of other metals, including iron, copper, zinc, gold, and silver, which makes up a proportion of the composition of Earth's crusts. But any way you analyze the layers and composition of Earth's crust plus the electromagnetic fields produced by the Earth, you will see technology, sensor technology, computer technology. The electromagnetic fields produced by the Earth and the Sun are identical to those produced by computer equipment, sensor equipment, scanner equipment, communications equipment, and other technologies. The Sun is a computer write-head insofar that DNA mutates in the UV rays, and DNA is structurally identical to computer code insofar that both are binary code. The Sun has been writing DNA since life evolved. When we bring in the Sun, we have what could be called basically a mirror image of an optical magnetic computer drives, optical magnetic sensor equipment, analyzer equipment, scanner equipment, all of which operate according to many of the same principles. A key word here is antenna-coupled optical detector for use in a remote biosensing. Earth is an antenna, the Sun is an antenna, the Milky Way is an antenna. The information picked up by the Earth component is probably being transmitted elsewhere via the communications component of the solar system. The electromagnetic and gravitational relationship between humans, the Earth, the Sun, and the Milky Way is the same dynamic as a radio source relay destination diagram.
The suns appear to be some kind of wireless router or relay, and perhaps the galaxies played the same roles.
Here are some key words, more of them: super high resolution biological imaging methods for non-destructive evaluation purposes, label and non-label free detection down to single particles, single molecule imaging by optical absorption, optical and electronic molecular recognition, and other key words that I don't need to read off. But The universe is a gigantic spectrograph made of billions and billions of spectrographs. The dynamics between the suns and the respective planets in their solar systems are basically mirror images of spectrographic equipment. Spectrographic radiation are rainbow fingerprints. The sun is the primary light source for the spectrographic component of the Technoverse. There are many, many forms of spectrography, and there are many, many types of spectrographic equipment. I've only included a few examples, but the dynamics and the organization of the planets, the moons, and the respective suns are essentially mirror images of spectrographs. Earth is a spectrograph. So are the other living planets. The sun is the primary light source. The gas giants with the big rings they probably serve as reflector dishes, reflector mirrors, deflectors, optical pickup units, sensors, and so forth. The suns are basically light-emitting cathodes, diodes, and other sources of hard and soft radiation. But the planets are sensors. The suns are the primary light source for optical, magnetic, sensor, and computing equipment that make up the Technoverse. The light from the suns influence the behavior of organisms. Light and magnetism also together influence the behavior of organisms, and scientists use the forces of light and magnetism as excitation and analytics agents. But the human aura is part of the optical / photonic / quantum component of the Technoverse, insofar that the electromagnetic field of the human aura is the same as a radio frequency identification tag. The same thing could be said for each and every planet,
as well as each and every galaxy.
The same could be said for each and every sun, each of which produce their own unique electromagnetic spectra, spectral signature. The same thing could be said for each and every atomic element.
Organisms like humans, as well as planets, suns, galaxies, they all have built-in computers and antennas, which is something that I am not going to go into again.
The solar systems are fusions of biosensor technology, computer technology, communications technology, and this especially includes biosensor technology, scanner technology, and so forth that scientists are now using to study organisms and cells, diagnose disease, and so forth. And this includes modulating the behavior of organisms. The solar systems are some kind of biosynthesizer and behavior modification and tracking grids.
The solar systems are machines for producing the forces of light and magnetism. The forces of light and magnetism are used to read and write computer code and manipulate DNA. The forces of light and magnetism are also used as excitation and analytics tools by doctors and scientists to study organisms and cells at the molecular and genetic levels.
The universe is a machine that produces machines that scan and analyze the organisms that evolve throughout the Technoverse. More specifically, as already noted, the Technoverse is some kind of computational biology and bioinformatics grid. The universe is a gigantic wireless computer sensor, telecommunications, data, mining, and fusion grid. With regard to the solar systems and their previously mentioned role as biosynthesizer and behavioral monitoring and modification grid, the planets also produce gravity, and gravity has also been known to influence the behavior of organisms, just like the forces of light and magnetism. Venus and Mars do not produce electromagnetic fields, and neither does the Moon, all of which used to produce electromagnetic fields billions of years ago until their internal dynamos were supposedly knocked out by asteroid strikes.
Whatever the case may be, people who believe in astrology swear that the position of Mars and Venus and the other planets and the moons affect their moods and behavior.
Humans are antennas. The galaxies are antennas. The planets are antennas. The suns are antennas. Humans are part of this chain of antennas. The electromagnetic fields produced by humans probably remain intact when we die, and they're probably reabsorbed back into Earth's electromagnetic field and redistributed back out into the solar system and beyond via Earth's electromagnetic field line. The Earth is at the center of a very significant piece of technology, inside of a piece of technology that in turn exists inside of more technology. But humans are biological computers, and the hard radiation from the stars that encircle the Earth are bombarding and passing through all life on Earth. This is a mirror image of a quantum computer core. Humans are some kind of quantum computer core biosensor unit. This is also a mirror image of an integrated biosensor. The hard radiation produced by the stars that are passing through all life on Earth include gamma radiation, neutron radiation, and X radiation. This is the type of radiation used in X-ray equipment, scanner equipment, sensor equipment, at least certain types. Even the galaxies that surround the Earth appear to be part of this sensor net, computer net. But the zodiacal belt is a mirror image of a bioscanner ring, sensor ring. Zodiacal belt is also a antenna unit, a very complicated one. But any way you analyze the visible and invisible structure and dynamics of the universe, you will see technology. Any way you dice and slice, upside down, inside out, and backwards, you will see technology. But the technological nature of the universe is hidden and camouflaged, disguised and cloaked behind and beneath quadrillions and quadrillions of megatons of fire and ice and rock and dirt and water and dust, and behind and beneath dark matter and dark energy. The technological nature of the universe is also camouflaged and hidden behind the forces of natural selection and evolution.
The technological nature of the universe is also partially obscured by the fact that many of the components of the Technoverse are so huge and abstract that we do not even recognize them as technology.
Now we are going into the organization of the stars again around the Earth. This is a mirror image of the dynamics of computer equipment, including an optical quantum computing array, an optical sensor array, a laser telecommunications array, an optical computing and sensor array, and even a photon teleportation array. But any way you analyze the cosmos, you will see technology. Any way you analyze the organization of the stars, the galaxies, the planets, you will see not just technology, but networks of technology, communications technology, sensor technology, computer technology. The universe is actually a system of networks inside of networks inside of networks inside of networks. Computer networks fused with sensor networks, fused with communications networks, and so forth. Networks inside networks inside networks inside networks. Electromagnetic fields inside electromagnetic fields inside electromagnetic fields that sometimes overlap into each other and form integrated computer sensor communications networks. The nearby galaxies are basically organized like a communications network, a sensor network, a computer network. The galaxies are all organized like a gigantic computer network and sensor network. The universe is organized like the cloud computing platform. But these galaxies are a fusion of computer technology, sensor technology, antenna technology. The universe is organized like the internet. This system of networks inside networks inside networks includes the fact that the universe is organized like the human brain. The galaxies, the local group of galaxies in our solar system, and the same could probably be said for almost all galactic groups and solar systems, are near mirror images of each other insofar they are organized like each other. They all produce identical electromagnetic fields. The galactic groups and the solar systems are organized like networks with star topography. This includes telecommunication networks, sensor networks, communication networks. The solar systems and the galactic groups are structurally identical to each other. The solar systems and the galactic groups are fusions of technology, especially biosensor technology, computer technology, communications technology, and other technologies that make up the Technoverse. And there is some kind of relationship between the solar systems and the galactic groups. I am going to conclude this video by saying that the universe is a technological megaplex from hell. It's a system of machines inside machines inside machines inside machines, networks inside networks inside networks inside networks, each of which is a small part of the Technoverse. The Technoverse is dedicated to producing life forms as well as analyzing and scanning these life forms. But anyway you analyze the Technoverse, you will see technology. Technology is everywhere throughout the Technoverse. All you have to do is look.
I would like to post-script this video by saying that I am aware of the fact that there is a lot of assertions I made in this video that are apocryphal. However, I would also like to say that all it takes is a few accuracies, and there are more than a few, then my Technoverse cybernetic universe theory is vindicated.